Silence, often dismissed as weakness, may in fact be the most potent weapon in human interaction. In the stillness where words vanish, a different kind of communication thrives, sharp and calculating. Behind every quiet person, there lies an intricate web of thoughts, strategies, and emotions kept tightly contained. Tonight, we dive into the shadows to uncover the psychological depth of the silent mind. The quiet individual in a crowded room often becomes invisible, yet they are the most observant one there. Each movement, each whisper, is catalogued behind still eyes that never miss a detail. What seems like passivity is actually control of perception. Silence becomes a veil that hides not emptiness, but dominance. Psychologists define silence as an ambiguous stimulus. It creates discomfort, forcing others to fill the void. The silent person uses this to their advantage, steering conversations without saying a word. In that murky tension of unspoken undertones, power subtly shifts. The loud become uneasy, while the quiet remain commanding. Historically, silence has been revered as divine and feared as dangerous. Monks, assassins, and negotiators all harnessed its force. The less one speaks, the less one reveals. In darkness, power thrives unseen. For those fluent in silence, manipulation is an art, crafted through restraint. In modern settings, silence can create profound psychological discomfort. Humans are wired for noise, for reassurance. The absence of it triggers anxiety. When a silent person holds eye contact and says nothing, they weaponize this basic need. It's the soundless roar that dominates entire rooms. Inside the quiet mind, patterns form like constellations, patiently connecting information others overlook. This mental stillness breeds analysis rather than reaction. Every word they don't utter becomes a data point stored for future moves. Their strength lies in observation, not declaration. Studies in dark psychology suggest that silence nurtures cognitive superiority in manipulation. The quiet individual learns emotional cues faster because listening replaces speaking. They decode others like open books, while concealing their own pages. In psychological warfare, knowledge is ammunition, and silent people stockpile it endlessly. Powerful negotiators use silence to fracture their opponent's confidence. Each pause is a trap, stretching the mind of the desperate talker who mistakes noise for control. The longer the silence lingers, the more truth the other person reveals. It's a tactic both cruel and effective. There's also darkness behind this mastery. Some silent personalities detach emotionally to remain unreadable, their empathy slowly eroding. They stop connecting, preferring to observe pain instead of sharing it. Silence transforms from shield to armor, a chilling manifestation of self-protection turned predatory. In relationships, the silent treatment is one of the most destructive forms of control. It preys upon human need for acknowledgement, punishing by withdrawal rather than confrontation. Victims often collapse under the weight of isolation. It doesn't need words, the absence is enough to wound. Dark psychology teaches that silence in this form activates ancient fears of abandonment. The primitive brain translates it as threat, a rejection from the tribe. Manipulators exploit this reflex mercilessly, creating dependency through fear. The cruelty rests in simplicity, doing nothing becomes the ultimate act of dominance. But not all quiet minds are sinister. Some withdraw to analyze, to protect themselves from noise that overwhelms. However, this emotional distance can still unnerve others who misread disengagement as deception. The boundary between introspection and intimidation blurs in the echo of stillness. In interrogation psychology, silence is a calibrated tactic. Investigators use pauses to make suspects unravel themselves. The longer the silence, the more unbearable it becomes. The urge to break it turns confession into self-defense. Humanity's discomfort with quiet exposes its deepest insecurity. Conversely, the manipulator uses that same discomfort to gain power over the emotionally impulsive. They remain calm, unreadable, while their opponent panics within the quiet. The imbalance grows exponentially, turning uncertainty into control. It's domination through absence, violence without motion. Corporate settings breed entire hierarchies around who speaks the least and listens the most. The silent executive commands respect not because of charisma, but because of composure. In spaces driven by chatter, stillness stands out as strength. They dictate tempo, invisible yet omnipresent. When we encounter someone eerily silent, our mind fills in their mystery with projection. We paint our own fears onto their blank canvas, giving them unearned power. The less they express, the more we imagine. Silence thus becomes the birthplace of myth and misunderstanding. Dark psychology reveals that silence is not passive, it is actively controlling narrative flow. In debates, it distorts logic, in conflict, it breeds guilt. Those who remain composed in silence often seem morally superior, though their motives may be anything but. Power thrives in stillness, feeding on ambiguity. Every predator in nature knows the importance of quiet. A lion stalking prey, a spider waiting within its web, motionless, breathless, patient. This primal instinct persists in humans cloaked as composure. Silent individuals mirror this predatory calm, mastering timing as instinct disguised as intellect. In social dynamics, silence shifts emotional balance. Groups instinctively compensate for the quiet one, giving them undue influence. Ironically, the less they offer, the more others invest. Control emerges from scarcity, attention gravitates toward the one who withholds. Digital silence amplifies this effect online. When someone remains inactive, their absence becomes a statement, sparking speculation. The unseen draws more focus than the visible. The algorithm of attention rewards mystery as much as activity. Silent personalities often wield empathy like a blade. By observing before acting, they understand weaknesses in others' emotions. Yet the temptation to exploit this knowledge grows addictive. The mind adapts, and empathy morphs into leverage. In dark psychological profiling, silence correlates with higher manipulative potential in certain contexts. Lack of verbal output doesn't signify lack of intent, it signals strategic patience. Their unpredictability unnerves and destabilizes their social environment. Every quiet moment conceals a calculation. Forensic psychologists study silence in body language, the unreturned glance, the still shoulders, the measured breath. These microsignals reveal volumes to the trained observer. To master silence is to master perception itself. Nothing escapes those who say little, yet see everything. Even in therapy, silence is a mirror, reflecting what the patient cannot articulate. Therapists use it to bring forth buried emotion. It reveals truths too fragile for words. The silence becomes the conversation itself, raw, haunting, and unrelenting. In the shadowed spaces of manipulation, silence transforms into psychological projection. The manipulator withdraws, forcing their target to chase verbal validation. The more desperate the target becomes, the more power shifts. The strategy is invisible, yet devastating. Some silent minds evolve through trauma, not intent. Repression turns into restraint, and restraint into identity. They find safety in observation because words once betrayed them. Their stillness isn't weaponry, it's survival. Yet, to outsiders, that very silence evokes fear. Humans fear what they cannot read, and in unreadable faces, the imagination goes wild. The quiet person becomes an enigma, both respected and resented. Silence shapes their mythology. Powerful leaders understand this dynamic deeply. The pause before a sentence, the lingering silence before a decision, they control tempo like conductors. The audience leans forward, hungry for every next word. Influence, ultimately, is the art of timing. Psychological warfare often begins with silence, not aggression. The first to speak reveals position, the first to panic loses leverage. In absence of sound, dominance establishes itself in microbehaviors. The game is invisible until the outcome is clear. Cultural norms sometimes disguise silence as politeness, but beneath etiquette lies restraint used strategically. Quiet individuals adapt these norms to maintain stealth influence. They navigate chaos with calm precision, unseen but profound. The power lies not in speech, but in the ability to choose when not to. Even the act of listening becomes weaponized in dark psychology. Active silence pretends empathy while harvesting information for manipulation. The more someone speaks to fill the void, the more they reveal. The listener becomes the silent architect of control. At a deeper level, silence also mirrors human fragility. Within it, all personas collapse momentarily, exposing raw thought. The quiet ones often see beyond surface chatter into the machinery of emotion. Their absence of noise is a window into profound depth, not emptiness. Fear of silence explains humanity's obsession with constant communication. To speak non-stop is to avoid introspection. Quiet people force the world to hear its own noise, reflecting the chaos others refuse to face. Their power is philosophical as much as psychological. Ultimately, the dark psychology of silent people reveals the paradox of human nature. Silence terrifies because it strips away illusion. Those who master it command presence beyond sound. In the end, silence doesn't hide power, it is power. So, the next time you encounter deep quiet in another, or even within yourself, listen closely. There's meaning beneath that stillness, more profound than noise can contain. For in silence, humanity confronts its truest reflection, the mind unmasked, stripped of words, exposed to the void.